I am Dr. Kay Fontana, life force coach and grief recovery specialist, and I am deeply familiar with the pain of loss, having experienced many throughout my life. At just 9 years old, I lost my brother to cancer and witnessed my parents' immense grief, which was unbearable. Years later, my mother lost her battle with Alzheimer's, and then my father was diagnosed with cancer and passed away a week after his diagnosis. Most recently, in January 2023, I experienced the devastating loss of my husband and soulmate of 40 years due to multiple health issues. In between were countless other losses, including family members, friends, co-workers, beloved pets, and even finances. However, I turned my pain into my purpose and passion to share strategies to help you get through your darkest days and navigate the complexities of grief. This is the Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast. Welcome to today's episode, where I'm going to share my thoughts on the experience of anticipatory grief. So you may be wondering, what exactly is anticipatory grief? Well, anticipatory grief is a complex emotional reaction that occurs when individuals are faced with an impending loss, such as the anticipated death of a loved one or other life events as well. It involves a mix of emotions, including sadness, anxiety, anger, and even relief, as individuals begin to process and come to terms with the reality of the impending loss. This type of grief can be challenging, as individuals may feel a sense of powerlessness and uncertainty about their future. Anticipatory grief also provides an opportunity for individuals to mentally prepare themselves for the loss, making the most of the time remaining with their loved one, and beginning the process of adjusting to life without them. It is a natural response to facing the inevitability of loss and can help individuals cope with the emotional challenges ahead. Aging parents or family members showing signs of decline can elicit anticipatory grief. The process of aging can bring about profound changes in elderly parents and family members, often signaling a decline in their physical health, cognitive ability, and overall independence. Witnessing these signs of decline can trigger anticipatory grief in their loved ones as they struggle with the impending loss of the person they once knew. The realization that their loved one may not be able to care for themselves, participate in activities they once enjoyed, or engage in meaningful interactions can be overwhelmingly distressful. Family members may grieve the loss of the vibrant, independent individual they once knew, while simultaneously preparing themselves for the inevitable changes ahead. This prolonged period of grieving can be mentally and emotionally exhausting, as individuals navigate the uncertainty of the future and face the difficult decisions associated with caring for aging loved ones. Seeking support from healthcare professionals, support groups, and family members can help individuals cope with the anticipatory grief and find ways to cherish the time that they have left with their aging parents or family members. Experiencing anticipatory grief motivated me to become a grief recovery specialist. When my mother reached the advanced stage of Alzheimer's, I was introduced to the grief recovery method for the very first time. After exploring the concepts outlined in the Grief Recovery Handbook by John W. James and Russell Friedman, I enrolled in an 8-week program to dig deeper into the principles. Throughout the program, participants focus on addressing a specific loss that resonates with them. In my case, I chose to work through the impending loss of my mother, as she entered hospice care shortly after the program began. The program concluded on Wednesday, and just days later, on the following Sunday, my mom passed away. Despite the sadness of losing my mom, I was surprised by the absence of regret, anger, guilt, or other negative emotions. Through the process of the 8-week program, I had already processed and mentally prepared for her imminent death. The realization served as a pivotal moment that clarified my calling and purpose as a grief recovery specialist. Grief experienced by individuals living with a loved one with a chronic illness can trigger anticipatory grief as they navigate the emotional complexities of witnessing their loved one's declining health and anticipating the eventual loss. The prolonged nature of chronic illness and the unpredictability of its progression can create a sense of impending loss, leading to feelings of sadness, helplessness, and profound emotional distress. Caregivers often find themselves grieving the gradual changes in their loved one's physical and cognitive abilities, the loss of shared activities and experiences, and the shifting dynamics in their relationship. Anticipatory grief in this context can be especially challenging as individuals struggle with the ongoing stress of caregiving responsibilities, the uncertainty of the future, and the emotional toll of witnessing their loved ones suffering. The anticipation of bereavement can lead to a range of emotions, including anxiety, guilt, and a deep sense of loss, even before the actual death occurs. Seeking support from healthcare professionals, support groups, and counseling services can help individuals coping with anticipatory grief find comfort, guidance, and a sense of community as they navigate the complexities of grief and caregiving. While my mother's health decline followed a predictable path, my husband's illnesses brought unpredictability to our lives. Each day with him presented new challenges and uncertainties, making it difficult to anticipate what lay ahead. As his devoted wife and caregiver, the frequency and duration of hospital visits signaled the nearing end of his journey. As an empath, witnessing his suffering across multiple conditions became unbearable, and the possibility of his loss weighed heavily on my heart and mind. Now, there are other situations in which anticipatory grief can emerge. Military deployment or dangerous work assignments can evoke anticipatory grief in both the individuals leaving for duty and their loved ones awaiting their return. The looming threat of physical harm, separation from family and friends, and the uncertainty of what future holds can trigger intense emotions of loss and anxiety. For those deploying, anticipatory grief may arise from the anticipation of missing out on important life events, the fear of not returning home, or the emotional toll of being away from loved ones. Equally, family members left behind may experience anticipatory grief as they cope with the constant worry for the safety and well-being of their loved one. The prolonged absence and the inherent dangers of military service or hazardous work environments can create a sense of impending loss and grieving even before any harm occurs. This ongoing emotional strain can lead to feelings of powerlessness, sadness, and the need to mentally prepare for the possibility of a tragic outcome. Seeking support from other military families, mental health professionals, and community resources can help individuals and families navigate anticipatory grief during times of prolonged separation or dangerous assignments. Impending divorce or separation can also evoke anticipatory grief as individuals face the impending loss of a significant relationship, the disillusion of shared dreams and plans, and the uncertainty of what the future holds. The realization that a marriage or partnership is coming to an end can trigger a range of complex emotions, including sadness, anger, guilt, and profound sense of loss. Anticipatory grief in this context may manifest as individuals mourn the end of the life they once envisioned with their partner, grieve the loss of companionship and emotional support, and prepare themselves for the challenges of navigating a new chapter of life alone. During this period, individuals may experience a sense of emotional limbo as they waver between hope for reconciliation and attempts of the inevitable separation. The anticipation of the emotional turmoil, legal proceedings, and practical changes associated with divorce or separation can intensify feelings of anxiety and distress. Seeking support from therapists, support groups, friends, and family members can provide individuals with a safe space to process their emotions, gain perspective, and find healthy coping mechanisms as they navigate anticipatory grief during this challenging time. Looming natural disasters or catastrophic events can evoke anticipatory grief as individuals and communities brace themselves for the potential loss of life, property, and livelihood. The threat of an imminent disaster, such as a hurricane, wildfire, or earthquake, can trigger a range of intense emotions, including fear, anxiety, and profound sadness. Anticipatory grief in this context arises from the anticipation of impending devastation, the disruption of normalcy, and the uncertainty of what the future holds. Individuals and communities may grieve the potential loss of homes, possessions, and family landscapes, as well as the possibility of harm to themselves and their loved ones. The threat of an approaching catastrophic event can create a sense of powerlessness and vulnerability, leading to feelings of anticipatory loss and grief. People may experience a sense of emotional turmoil as they prepare for the worst while holding on to hope for safety and resilience in the face of disaster. Engaging in preparedness efforts, seeking support from disaster response agencies, and connecting with community resources can help individuals and communities cope with anticipatory grief, build resilience, and navigate the emotional challenges of facing potential natural disaster or catastrophic events. Anticipating the loss of a beloved pet with a serious illness can also evoke anticipatory grief as pet owners come to terms with the declining and eventual passing of their furry companion. Pets often hold a special place in their owners' hearts, providing unconditional love, companionship, and emotional support. As pets age or face serious illness, their owners may experience a profound sense of loss and sadness as they anticipate the inevitable end of their journey together. Anticipatory grief in this context can be particularly challenging as pet owners navigate the emotional roller coaster of hope, sadness, and acceptance. Watching a pet's health deteriorate, witnessing their pain and suffering, and making difficult end-of-life decisions can intensify feelings of grief and distress. Pet owners may grieve the loss of daily routines, shared experiences, and the unique bond that they have with their furry friend. Seeking support from veterinarians, pet loss support groups, and loved ones can help pet owners cope with anticipatory grief, process their emotions, and find ways to cherish the time that they have left with their beloved pet. Engaging in meaningful activities, creating lasting memories, and practicing self-care can also provide comfort during this challenging time. Grieving the impending loss of a job or career, such as in retirement, can evoke anticipatory grief as individuals deal with the imminent transition from a familiar role to a new phase of life. The anticipation of leaving a job or career that has defined one's identity, provided a sense of purpose, and structured daily life can trigger a range of complex emotions, including sadness, anxiety, and uncertainty. Individuals approaching retirement may mourn the loss of routine, structure, and social connections, and the financial security that their job has provided. Anticipatory grief in this context can be particularly challenging as individuals navigate the emotional complexities of preparing for the end of a significant chapter in their lives. The approaching retirement can lead to feelings of loss, apprehension, and the need to adjust to a new reality. Anticipatory grief may manifest as individuals grieve the end of their professional identity, the shift in relationship with colleagues, and the uncertainty of what comes next in retirement, such as what to do with their time. Seeking support from career counselors, retirement planning resources, and mental health professionals can help individuals cope with anticipatory grief, navigate the emotional challenges of retirement, and find ways to transition into this new phase of life with optimism. Engaging in activities that bring joy, exploring new interests, and connecting with loved ones can also aid in the process of adjusting to the impending loss of a job or career. Now, empty nest syndrome can also elicit anticipatory grief as parents anticipate the impending departure of their children from home, marking a significant transition in their family dynamic. The realization that their children will soon be leaving for college, moving out, or starting their own families can trigger a range of complex emotions, including sadness, loneliness, anxiety, and a deep sense of loss. Parents preparing for empty nest may mourn the end of daily interactions with their children, the absence of their presence in the home, and the shift in their parental role. Anticipatory grief in this context can be emotionally challenging as parents struggle with the anticipation of an emptier, quieter household, the uncertainties of their children's future, and the changes in the family traditions and routines. The thought of empty nests can lead to feelings of emptiness, nostalgia, and the need to adjust to a new chapter in their lives. Parents may experience a sense of bittersweetness as they prepare themselves for the challenge of letting go and finding new ways to connect with their children as they navigate adulthood. Seeking support from other parents experiencing empty nest syndrome, engaging in self-care practices, and communicating openly with their children can help parents cope with anticipatory grief, find comfort in their shared experiences, and discover ways to embrace this new phase of life. Anticipatory grief extends beyond the realm of death and dying, manifesting in response to various types of losses individuals may encounter. Whether anticipating the loss of a person, a relationship, a job, or a cherished dream, seeking connection and support is crucial in navigating this difficult emotional territory. Reaching out to others who can offer understanding, empathy, and guidance can provide comfort and strength during the times of anticipatory grief. The mission of Healing Our Grieving Hearts is to provide energy healing and spiritual support and guide individuals through the process of grief recovery and purpose discovery. For more information on how to benefit from grief healing modalities that I offer, go to my website at www.healingourgrievinghearts.com, where you can also schedule a complimentary grief breakthrough session. You will also find 2 guided meditations on the media page. To follow me on Facebook, go to facebook.com/k.fontana. Thank you for listening to this episode of Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast. Remember, you are not alone in your grief, and your experiences and emotions are valid. Join me next Saturday at 10 a.m. Arizona time as we continue to explore the human experience and what happens when children grieve. Until then, be kind to yourself.